L is real, 2401. If you've played Super Mario 64, or even if you've only heard about the character of Mario, you've probably heard of this phrase. L is real was a huge gaming mystery revolving around Luigi's exclusion and absence from Super Mario 64 that started out as just a small theory, but eventually burst into a huge conspiracy within the gaming community as the internet became more popular. The L is real theory is a pretty straightforward one and focused on Luigi being hidden somewhere within Super Mario 64, inaccessible to basic players of the game, and for years upon years, gamers have tried pretty much everything in hopes of finally unlocking him, proving themselves as masters of Super Mario 64. You remember those old theories, don't you? The ones that told you to collect every single coin in the game with the total number adding up to 2,401, those theories that told you to run around the Eternal Star Fountain a bunch of times just because the plaque supposedly said L is real 2401, and who could forget the foreshadowing of Paper Mario's North American release date of February 5th, 2001, which was only one day off of the numbers 2401. Back in the day, even IGN got involved with this theory, offering a $100 reward to anyone who could prove this theory by showing them an authentic unlocking method, but it just never happened. There was a bunch of variations within these theories, and many people tried every single one, spending years testing them out and ultimately finding these theories to be fake. But there was something fun about these L is real theories that kept bringing people back. There was a different level of mystique and challenge behind this theory, no matter how difficult and impossible the challenges became. I believe the internet was a huge factor in making L is real a household term because I'm certain that most of you watching this video remember all of those Ouija memes and all of those different colored Mario models Machinima and similar channels would use on YouTube back in the day. I know for certain that when I was a kid, I loved those videos where Mario was just colored green or yellow or purple, but you could clearly tell that it was Mario. I don't know, might just be me, but those were really fun videos back in the day. Sadly though, like many gaming mysteries, L is real went unsolved for several decades due to all of the convoluted ways people were told on how to unlock Luigi, and because of all the shifts and changes the theory went through as the years went on. With all of these different strategies on how to unlock Luigi popping up all over the place, and with all of these fake cheats and fake character models being shown to deceive players, many people decided to just give up looking for Luigi, and the memory of L is real just shifted to the back of everyone's minds. It was still there, but nobody really thought about it anymore. It didn't help that in 1998, a letter by Nintendo debunked the theory, stating that the L is real quote on the Eternal Star plaque only served as a joke put there by developers. Despite this, the rumor still lived on for many years. That is, until Nintendo themselves actually confirmed Luigi's involvement with Super Mario 64's initial development, and the theory jump-started right back up into popularity. You see, Super Mario 64 was originally planned to include a two-player co-op mode with Mario and Luigi both being playable through a split screen. Unfortunately, due to the limitations of the Nintendo 64 and due to how unsatisfactory the multiplayer aspect became, the developers of the game just decided to scrap co-op altogether and focus primarily on making Super Mario 64 a single-player game. Because of this, Luigi was also scrapped alongside the multiplayer mode, and for some reason, he was cut from the game entirely. There's no references to the character, we don't even see him at all throughout Peach's castle like we do with other characters, there's no mentions, there was supposedly no trace of any of his coding, he was just gone. Prior to Nintendo officially coming out and saying Luigi was planned for the game at one point, there was still that sliver of hope that Luigi was somewhere, hiding, and some people still believed it, some people gave into the idea, and just thought that he didn't exist. This would of course feed into the idea that Luigi was a secret character and had to be unlocked by going through a bunch of different trials, and of course, many kids around the world, myself included, spent years dedicating time and effort into proving this theory. There's just something interesting about the unknown, and before we knew of Luigi's initial inclusion, everyone wanted to be the first to discover what nobody else knew at the time, but once it was revealed that he was scrapped, the mystique of L is real just vanished. Of course, there were some people who still believed that with enough hard work, you could actually find Luigi, but the vast majority of people now knew that he just wasn't there, and sadly, the magic of this theory was lost. People lost interest for a bit in this gaming mystery, but still held it up super high because of all the memories that they had trying to prove it. but man, you have to admit that the power this theory had was indescribable. The fact that people held this theory close to their hearts and believed it for such a long period of time, only to keep thinking about this theory even after it was officially debunked, that's just amazing, and goes to show that this is one of, if not the most popular gaming mystery of all time. Besides, even if L is real and ended up being fake, you can't deny how much fun you had as a kid trying to unlock Luigi. All of those late nights playing Mario 64, all of those lies you told your friends and family trying to convince them that Luigi actually was in the game, spreading the rumors and feeding into them, all of those old Machinima, Ouija, and early 2006-2007 YouTube memes, believing all of those obviously fake screenshots now that I'm looking back at them, these were some of my favorite memories of Super Mario 64 prior to the huge boom in online popularity that it's gotten in recent years, and I figured since I haven't really talked about it, I wanted to relive some of those cherished memories with all of you. Too bad there's never going to be a satisfying conclusion to the L is real theory.
Oh, mamma mia, that's delicious!
Wait, L actually was real? Turns out it's better to see things in order to believe them, as even though we already knew that Luigi was planned and ultimately scrapped for Super Mario 64, the entire internet exploded the other day as images of Luigi's official character model leaked from the game's source code. Looks like Luigi wasn't entirely scrapped, as we not only get a glimpse at some of these images of Luigi that would have ended up in the final product, we also got some cool audio clips that I just barely shared with you guys. I've seen people get super excited over this revelation, I've seen several people believing it to be fake, and I've seen several people wondering why everyone is losing their minds if we already knew Luigi was planned from the get-go. But for many people, myself included, I think the fact that we now have visual evidence of Luigi's initial existence, we're allowed to finally put the L is real theory to rest, as this gaming mystery has finally been solved. Personally, I think it's really cool that these images are coming out, and honestly, it's really creepy how the L is real 2401 theory finally came true exactly 24 years and 1 month after Super Mario 64's initial release. But I just wanted to give a quick glimpse into the L is real theory for all of you guys who may not be as familiar with it as I am. Now that it's solved, I highly recommend you dive down the rabbit hole and look into all of those old theories for the game, as you might find a few interesting things along the way, and it may create or renew interest for you in Super Mario 64. If you want to dive even farther into some of this leaked source coding for Luigi, I highly recommend you go and check out the Twitter user @CommentMetal, as there's a lot of extra content that I didn't talk about on their profile, so go check them out. However, just keep in mind that despite these leaked images showing Luigi's character model, Luigi isn't just magically gonna pop up in the game. If you want to test these old strategies for unlocking him for yourself, go right ahead, but you're only going to be doing it for fun. Super Mario 64 has been out for over 2 decades by this point, and the only way you're going to play as Luigi is in its DS port, or if you're into those online ROM hacks created by Kaze, which, by the way, some of those online mods that he creates are really cool. I recommend checking them out on YouTube. A few YouTubers that I recommend for these Super Mario 64 ROM hacks are the members of Minus World, people like Hobo Bros, Nathaniel Bandy, Simple Flips, and Nintendrew, just to name a few. The online community for Super Mario 64 has not only kept the game alive, but it's added an extra layer of replayability and enjoyment to an already fantastic game in a way that I couldn't possibly describe. The SM64 community is honestly one of my favorite communities just because of how much love it gets through its ROM hacks, and because we all share a love of the game. There's nothing to argue about, it's just a bunch of fun. All in all though, the L is real theory was a huge part of my childhood, being the most infamous theory from one of my favorite games, if not my absolute favorite game of all time. The fact that this mystery lived on and thrived for well over 2 decades is astounding, and now that it's finally been solved and put to rest, this is a huge moment in gaming history, and I just had to make a video on it, even though I don't really do Nintendo videos as much as I would otherwise want to. So what are your thoughts on L is real 2401 finally being solved? Leave your comments down below and let me know where Super Mario 64 ranks in terms of your favorite games. You know what I want to see next? If we ever get a concrete answer as to whether or not Waluigi was playable in Super Mario 64 DS, I might be just as excited, as it took over 20 years to solve L is real, so who knows, maybe we'll get an answer to Waluigi in a few years. I'll keep my fingers crossed on that one. Speaking of which, if you guys want to see me do a video on the Waluigi theory from Super Mario 64 DS, leave a comment down below because that is a video I would definitely want to do. Anyways, if you liked this video and want me to create even more Mario and Nintendo related content, please leave a like on this video by giving it a thumbs up. If you're interested in gaming in general, you better subscribe to my channel because I have plenty more gaming content planned for all of you. There's a few Mario videos that I need to get around to making, so keep your eyes peeled for those. As always though, thank you all so much for watching, and until my next video, I'll be seeing all of you later. See ya!